What is going on, everybody? It's Cody here from TideWe, and we just received our new 3 to 4 person see-through hunting blind from TideWe Outdoors. And what I want to do today is walk you guys through exactly how to set this blind up based on the instruction manual that actually comes with the blind. Dump this blind out of the bag here. You're going to notice this blind is actually going to come in a pretty nice looking carrying bag here. This bag is updated from the previous bags that TideWe has used in the past. It's a quiet material, and it's gonna have 2 straps on it rather than 1. Another nice thing about the bag is it has a giant zipper going all the way down the bag itself, which makes it very easy to get this blind in and out of the bag when you're done with it. But let's go ahead and pull the actual blind out of our bag here. We'll set that aside for now. You can see this is nice and tucked away. You're gonna have a nice cinch strap through the middle of it that's gonna have a big durable buckle on there. So that way when you're done with the blind, you can roll it up just like this and then put that strap around it to kind of make it just a little bit easier to slide into that bag. So we're gonna go ahead and take that buckle off. Once you have undone the buckle, you can start to kind of unfold your blind. And if you kind of let everything just sprawl right out here, back this up so you guys can see it. If you kind of let everything just sprawl right out here, you'll notice that the blind is actually very large, but there's sides to the blind, and then there's also a roof. But before we go ahead and pop the sides, let's take a look at the instructions that are actually included with the blind inside of the bag here. So right inside the bag, it's actually sewn right into the bag. You're gonna have a list of instructions on how to set this blind up. Now, if you're new to setting up these ground blinds, I would highly suggest checking out these instructions or just finish watching this video. We'll ensure that you guys get this thing set up correctly. That way it's not a pain when you put it away and then take it back out. So if we take a look at the packing list real quick before we get to setting this thing up, you're gonna notice you're gonna get a blind carrying bag, the hunting blind, and the instruction sheet, which is right here, a ground stake bag, 8 ground stakes, and then 4 tie-down ropes. We're not gonna be using the ground stakes or the tie-downs today, simply because I'm basically just setting this up for demonstration, and we're not gonna be leaving it here today. But if you are gonna be setting this thing up in the woods and using it throughout the season, you're definitely gonna wanna put some stakes down on this thing and maybe those tie-down ropes too as well. Keep it solidified in that spot. As you can tell, it's a little windy today. These things will take off if some wind gets underneath them, especially if it's a strong wind. They will take off. So be sure that you're being cognizant of that when you're out in the woods setting this thing up. So let's get into the step-by-step instructions on this. So step 1 is remove your blind from the carrying bag and lay it on the ground. Well, that is exactly what we just did. Spread out the corners of the blind to locate the center hub of the roof on the blind. So this is, again, very simple, and is pretty much what we were doing before I went and grabbed this bag. So you're gonna notice that this is one of the bottom corners. So I have a bottom corner here, I have a bottom corner here, and then the 2 front corners in the front there. So I know that this is the base of my blind, and I can see the door and a window on this side. This is gonna be basically the back side of this blind. All right, so now that we have separated the blind and we're all good to go there, it's folded out, we've realized the 4 bottom corners of the blind, step 3 is now to pop the roof. And what it says is we firmly grasp this black loop on the roof and pull up until the roof pops up. What we'll do is we'll just reach down, we'll grab that loop, and we'll pull up until that roof is popped. All right, so now that we have the roof popped, step 4 is to pop the sides. Now we're gonna start with one side and then we'll continue with the rest. We're gonna pop those sides the same exact way that we just popped this roof. So we'll locate the sides of our blind here. Doesn't matter which side you start with. We'll go ahead and start with this side right here. We're just gonna firmly pull that, and you can see that that side is popped out. Now we can go around the rest of the blind and do the same exact thing. Just continue to pop the sides on this blind on all 4 sides. All right, so now that we have all of the sides popped in our blind, we can now maneuver this blind however we need to get it set up in the woods for hunting. So that is the quick and easy setup to the blind. Again, if you're gonna be setting this up, for a season's hunt, you're definitely gonna wanna stake it down with some stakes and the tie ropes that are included with this blind. Very cool blind, very easy to set up, but it is also very important that you're putting this blind away the correct way. Otherwise, when you pull it out next time to use it, it could be just a little bit more of a mess to set this thing up. So let's go through the instructions on actually taking this blind down and being sure that you're putting it in the bag the correct way. So before we go ahead and pop this blind down, I do want to say the front side of the instruction card is going to explain how to set your blind up. But if we go ahead and flip the instruction card over to the back side, it's going to give us some takedown instructions. Now, this is what I was saying before. You want to be sure that you're following these instructions for the first time. That way you can ensure that you're putting this blind away properly so that when you go to set it up next time, you can set it up just as easy as we did today. Well, let's go ahead. We'll start with step number 1 on the takedown instructions, and that is zip the door shut and close all of the windows. Now, you want to be sure that you're doing this. That way, all of the fabric on the outside is staying consistent with the way that the blind is folded up. By doing this, you're going to ensure that you're not going to have any rips or tears in your windows or any deterioration on the fabric around the door or the windows itself. So let's go ahead, zip the windows up and zip the door up as well. Now that we have the windows up and the door zipped up, we can go on to step 2, which is to take all the ground stakes out and the ropes out as well that we use to secure this blind down. Now, obviously today we did not do that, so we can go ahead and skip that step because all of our ropes and stakes are still put away. Moving on to step 3, using your hand, push the hub in the center of one of the walls from the outside in until it disengages. So what this is saying is we're basically going to pop in the walls on the blind first before we do anything else. And step 4 is to repeat step 3 all the way around the blind. So we're going to go ahead and pop in all the walls on this blind. So as you can see, all of the walls on the blind are now popped, and all that's left is the roof. You always want to be sure that when you're putting the blind away, the last thing to be disengaged is the roof. So we'll go ahead and push that roof in. So one more tip before we go into step 6 is after you've popped that roof, go ahead in there and give that roof just one more good solid push down. Really disengage those fiberglass members to make it a little easier to pull the corners up in step 6. So now step 6 is to grab the bottom corners of the blind and start folding them inward. And by doing that, the blind is practically going to collapse in on itself, getting it to the point of where it was before you took it out of the bag. Now, step 7 is to really condense this thing down and use the strap on the blind to tighten this to make it a little easier to get into the bag. So what we're going to do is loosen that buckle. It is still tight from earlier when we took it out of the bag. And once it's loose, you'll notice we'll have the strap that we can simply wrap around this blind to cinch tight. In here, now that the blind is broken down, it should be pretty simple to get everything kind of disengaged and together. You can pull that strap around here, clip it together, and then really just kind of start pulling on this strap to really bring everything together. Here we go. And all fold up real nicely to make it that much easier to get it back into the bag here. Go ahead and slide that end into the bottom of the bag here. There we go. Then we can pull the rest of the bag up and over the blind. Again, this bag is just a little bit oversized, making it real easy to fit back into the bag itself. You can actually lay it right on the ground and then just pull your centers together here and zip it shut. Zip it all the way up. Don't forget to put your ground stakes also back into the bag, and then zip the rest of it closed, and we're good to go. This blind is now ready to be set up again next time with ease, the same exact way we set it up today. So if you guys are looking for an awesome see-through blind that can fit quite a few people, definitely check out the TideWe 3 to 4 person see-through ground blind. This thing is pretty big. Again, it's portable. It's still very easy to hide in the woods, and you can fit a good amount of people in here. Hopefully this video gave you a better understanding on how to set up the ground blind. Again, use that instruction card that's coming with the blind if you've never set one of these up before. You're definitely gonna wanna be sure that you're doing it the correct way. That way you're not having any problems when you're setting this blind up, and then you're also not destroying any of the components inside of the blind. If this video helped you, leave us some comments down below. And as always, keep living your passions, and we'll catch you guys on the next video.